They've seen your light, now a millionaire wants to move you. Sounds impossible? It's not. Let me ask you something. Have you ever felt like no one truly saw you? Like your efforts, your kindness, your faith, were invisible? What if I told you that someone has been watching, someone with the power to shift your entire reality? Not just anyone. A wealthy person. Someone influential, spiritually awake, and moved by something they can't explain. They didn't find you by accident. They were guided to you. And now they feel a pull, like helping you is part of their purpose too. You didn't chase this. You attracted it. And before we dive deeper, if this kind of message already resonates with something in your soul, pause for a second. Leave a like, and drop a comment below. It's a simple act of faith, and it tells YouTube to keep showing you messages that feed your spirit. This video is about that shift. The moment when the chosen one, after years of silence and hidden growth, is finally seen. Not for who they pretend to be, but for who they really are. In that moment, it activates a life change no strategy could have created. You'll learn why your quiet impact was never wasted, why every struggle had timing behind it, and why being invisible was actually divine protection. Because the season of being overlooked is over. Now comes the reward for the good actions done in secret. And yes, it might feel surreal. Things are moving faster. Opportunities are finding you. And behind it all, there's a spiritual message being whispered: you're ready. Ready for a new beginning. Ready for the big opportunity you never saw coming. Ready to receive what was always meant for you. So stay close. What you're about to hear might explain every closed door, every silent season, and every moment that almost made you quit. This isn't just inspiration, it's confirmation. And trust me, you don't want to miss what's next. It starts in silence. The chosen one walks through life unnoticed, doing what's right when no one's clapping. But recently, something shifted. A wealthy person, someone with influence and reach, has seen what others missed. And trust me, it's not by chance. This is divine timing in action, and your quiet integrity just caught the right pair of eyes. Now, here's the twist. You're not just being noticed, you're being studied. Not in a creepy way, but in awe. Your decisions, your kindness, your unwavering faith, they've sparked something in someone powerful. They see purpose in your walk. This isn't a reward for showing off. This is a reward for good actions done when nobody was watching. You ever felt like you're constantly being tested, but no one sees how hard you fight to stay aligned? That feeling of being invisible? That's what makes this moment so special. The person watching you doesn't just see your wins, they see your personal growth. They recognize that what you're carrying is rare, even sacred. Most people chase after the spotlight. But the chosen one? They live by purpose. They move with spiritual message, even if they don't always have the words for it. And that movement, that energy, it drew in someone who didn't come to take, but to give. This could be the big opportunity that flips your entire life shift. Imagine someone silently rooting for you, planning to change your life without asking for anything in return. Sounds unreal, right? But that's exactly what's unfolding. What looks like luck is actually a hidden blessing. A reward written in your name long ago. You're not lucky, you're aligned. Here's the thing, you're being called up to a higher table not because of what you've done in front of others, but because of what you did when it was just you and your faith. That kind of authenticity can't be faked. And when true wealth sees true worth, the doors that open don't require you to knock, they swing wide without warning. So now I ask you, what would you do if tomorrow your life changed completely? Not by force, not by hustle, but by a divine connection that sees your soul. Would you be ready to step into that new beginning? Because this is just the beginning of something far bigger than you think. They say impact is loud, but that's not always true. Sometimes, it's the quiet ones who shake the room without saying a word. The chosen one didn't need a stage. Just by offering a kind word, staying firm in storms, and choosing truth when it was hard, they triggered a chain reaction. That's the kind of life change that doesn't just inspire, it transforms. Let's get real, people underestimate the power of being kind when no one's looking. But that's where the magic brews. Holding the door for a stranger, comforting someone in pain, not gossiping when you could, it all adds up. Those little things whispered to the universe, "I'm ready." And guess what? Someone heard. That wealthy person watching? They didn't care about how many followers you had. They were drawn by your spirit, your integrity, your faith. They felt a spiritual message through your energy, something pure, something undeniable. That's why they feel compelled to help. You didn't chase them, they were guided to you. Sometimes your greatest blessing hides behind your quiet consistency. Not in the spotlight, but in the background where real character is built. Your life shift is the result of those small yeses to your values. This person sees that you didn't take shortcuts. And that right there? That's what earned you this new beginning. Ever wondered why you felt so overlooked, like your efforts didn't matter? That was the illusion. You were being prepared. Every act of kindness, every choice to grow instead of retaliate, it counted. It sent out a frequency. And now, that frequency has pulled someone into your orbit, someone ready to open a big opportunity. You didn't just pass through hardship, you elevated through it. While others complained, you chose faith. While others gave up, you leaned into your purpose. That's what set you apart. The reward for good actions doesn't always show up instantly, but it always shows up. And now, it's arriving with interest. Here's the real question: what if everything you've done in silence was always meant to echo back at the perfect moment? What if the life change you've been waiting for has already begun, and you're just catching up to the wave? Because next, we need to talk about a test you didn't even know you passed. Here's what most people don't realize: life gives you the test before it gives you the lesson. And recently, the chosen one faced a quiet exam, no instructions, no audience, just pressure. And you passed. Not because you were perfect, but because you stayed aligned when it would have been easier to fold. That moment marked your life shift. See, tests from the divine rarely look like tests. Sometimes they're disguised as betrayal. Other times, as silence. Or waiting. Or being misunderstood. But how you handle those moments, that's what reveals your growth. You didn't just survive, you expanded. And someone powerful noticed the resilience stitched into your spirit. There was a choice placed in front of you recently. One that could have pulled you out of alignment. But you didn't sell your soul for quick comfort. You chose faith over fear. That wasn't just a good decision, it was the proof that you're ready for what's next. And now, the reward is tracking you down. What's wild is that while you were questioning your progress, someone else was being divinely guided to you. A wealthy person. Not just in money, but in vision, access, and spiritual clarity. They were pulled to you not by coincidence, but by your vibration. That kind of connection doesn't come often. It's divine timing, pure and simple. Most people want a blessing without the test. But here's the truth: hidden blessings are revealed through hidden tests. And what you went through wasn't punishment, it was preparation. It showed you what matters, it cleared the path. And now someone has stepped into your story to honor that sacrifice. You're not crazy for believing. Think back, how many moments did you feel unseen, like your good heart wasn't enough? Those were the proving grounds. And now, the universe is sending someone to reflect back the truth you held on to. This isn't just a life change, it's a spiritual promotion. But hold on, because this shift is just starting. So let me ask you this, if you've already passed the test, what exactly is being unlocked for you now? And who is this stranger that sees your worth so clearly, they're ready to invest in your rise? You're about to find out that true wealth recognizes something far deeper than status. Let's break a myth: real wealth doesn't chase noise, it follows energy. And when the chosen one moves through life with quiet confidence, purpose, and unwavering faith, that energy speaks louder than any performance. That's what drew the wealthy person in. Not flash. Not hype. Just truth. Just presence. You didn't need to prove your value, because your actions already did. The right people don't need to be convinced, they feel it. And the one who's been watching, they've reached a point where they crave authenticity more than luxury. They've seen status. What they want now is soul. And you? You've got that in abundance. This is bigger than material help. What's unfolding here is a spiritual message wrapped in opportunity. You showed up for others when no one showed up for you. You spoke life when you were running on empty. And that is the currency that real wealth responds to. Because wealth without purpose feels empty. You ever notice how some people have everything, but they still feel lost? That's because money without meaning is a trap. This person, your benefactor, they're done living that way. They want to pour into someone who reminds them of what truly matters. And guess what? Your purpose is the reminder they've been praying for. Let's be clear, they didn't choose you randomly. They were drawn by divine timing, guided by something they couldn't explain. They saw kindness where the world saw weakness. They saw personal growth where others saw struggle. That contrast made you impossible to ignore. Your worth revealed itself quietly, and that silence roared. You didn't bend to trends. You stayed rooted in something real. That's why this person trusts you more than people they've known for years. They feel safe investing in your journey because they sense something unshakable. That's rare. And rare things? They attract rare rewards. You've become the reflection of what they value most. So here's what I want you to reflect on. What happens when someone with everything chooses to give it to you, not because you asked, but because you reminded them of who they once were? What if this isn't just a blessing for you, but healing for them too? The elevation isn't only yours. For a long time, the chosen one felt misplaced, like a diamond buried in sand. People didn't see you. Or worse, they misunderstood your silence, your depth, your vision. But here's the thing, that hiding season wasn't a curse. It was a shield. You were being protected until the right person, in the right moment, could truly see you. Sometimes God hides His best work. Not because it's not ready, but because the world isn't. You were kept in rooms too small for your spirit. Conversations too shallow for your wisdom. Relationships too conditional for your kindness. And now, the time has come for the elevation that was promised before the pain. The sudden arrival of this wealthy person isn't random, it's divine timing. And that's what most people miss. They think success comes from chasing. But no. In your case, it's coming from alignment. Everything hidden in you, your purpose, your gifts, your strength, is now being drawn into the open. You're stepping into visibility. This is where life gets interesting. When you go from overlooked to essential, the shift is fast, and it's intense. People will ask, where did they come from? But they didn't see the years of refinement. They didn't see the spiritual message unfolding behind closed doors. But this person, they saw enough to act. The elevation isn't just about lifestyle, it's about alignment. You're being placed where your essence fits, where your faith is welcomed, where your kindness isn't taken for granted, and where your personal growth becomes contagious. You're not climbing alone, your shift will lift others too. That's part of why this opportunity had to find you. Ever wonder why certain things didn't work out? Why you didn't fit into spaces that seemed perfect on paper? That was divine rejection, because you weren't meant to adjust to the world. You were meant to wait for the world that adjusts to you. And now, the one who saw you is building that world around your light. So now, ask yourself, are you ready to leave the shadows behind? Because this isn't just a new beginning. It's an unveiling. And what comes next will require a new level of mindset, preparation, and surrender. The elevation is real, but are you truly prepared for what it will demand? Elevation isn't just a gift, it's a responsibility. And now that the chosen one is stepping into a season of favor, preparation becomes sacred. You don't level up by accident. You rise by being mentally clear, spiritually aligned, and emotionally grounded. That wealthy person didn't come to rescue you, they came to partner with your readiness. Here's a hard truth: most people sabotage blessings because they weren't prepared to receive. You've spent your life giving, your time, your energy, your love, but now it's time to open your hands. Let kindness flow to you, not just from you. This life change is an answer to prayers you whispered alone. But with elevation comes responsibility. You'll have to release some habits that no longer fit. The version of you that survived won't be the one that thrives. That means more discipline, more vision, fewer distractions. Can you make space for the divine timing you've been waiting on? Because it won't wait forever. Humility is key. This isn't the time to show off, it's the time to show up. Learn what you don't know. Ask for help. Strengthen your skills. Maybe that means taking a course, reading books like The 4 Agreements or Think and Grow Rich, or simply creating space for reflection. Growth doesn't pause for comfort. Also, get ready to lead. People will look to you for guidance, even if you don't feel qualified. But remember, your wisdom comes from pain you didn't deserve but survived anyway. That's your authority. That's why this big opportunity is yours. You didn't chase it, it's chasing you. Now it's your job to steward it. And don't forget, receiving is spiritual. Let that sink in. Many people reject their own blessings out of guilt or fear. But not you. Not anymore. You've earned this life shift, not through perfection, but through persistence. The next version of you won't apologize for shining. It'll simply be the light. So tell me, what's one thing you need to let go of to fully step into this new beginning? Because what's coming next will require you to release the old and embrace what's been waiting for you. And trust me, the next stage will separate those who are ready from those who resist. Here's the part no one tells you: elevation costs. To rise, you'll have to release. That includes people, patterns, and mindsets that once felt safe, but now feel heavy. The chosen one is being called higher, and not everyone can come. Some relationships will fade. Not out of drama, but because your energy no longer matches the room. Let's be honest. Some folks only loved you when you were dim. When you stayed small, they felt comfortable. But now, your personal growth exposes their lack of movement. That's not your fault. That's your light doing its job. And part of walking in your purpose means being okay with being misunderstood. You're not abandoning anyone, you're choosing alignment. Think of it like climbing a mountain. The higher you go, the less you can carry. Old fears? Let them go. Limiting beliefs? Time to drop them. You can't receive a hidden blessing with hands full of yesterday's baggage. This is about space, sacred, clean, open space. This life shift won't just challenge your relationships, it'll challenge your habits. The comfort zone you've known? It's shrinking. Divine timing is accelerating. If you don't move with it, you'll miss what's already been sent. This isn't a drill, it's the moment preparation meets opportunity. You asked for it. Now, it's knocking. And don't be surprised when resistance shows up. Some people will question your rise. Why them, they'll ask. But they didn't see the nights you cried in silence, the battles you won without applause. They don't understand the cost. That's why their opinions don't get to shape your destiny. Only your faith does. You're not here to shrink into spaces you've outgrown. You're here to stretch. To become. To evolve. Letting go isn't about loss, it's about making room. It's saying, I trust what's coming more than I fear what's leaving. That's real faith. That's the energy that wealth and opportunity are drawn to. So pause and ask yourself, what are you still holding on to that's keeping you small? Because in the next chapter, doors won't open with effort, they'll open through alignment. And speaking of doors, some of them are already swinging open behind the scenes. The wildest part of this journey? The doors you thought you had to fight for are opening on their own. No knocking. No begging. Just walking in alignment. The chosen one is experiencing the rare fruit of unseen labor and unshakable faith. That's not luck, that's divine timing finally speaking out loud. You didn't hustle your way into this opportunity, it found you. You stayed consistent when no one clapped. You trusted when everything told you to quit. That spiritual message you lived silently has now echoed into the heart of someone wealthy enough to make things move. And move, they will. This is the season where things feel surreal, because they are. A big opportunity doesn't always come wrapped in a contract. Sometimes, it arrives as a conversation. A connection. A moment. Stay aware. Pay attention to the nudges. Being watched was step one. Now, things are shifting in plain sight. Think about it. How many doors didn't open because they weren't meant to? How many no's were just redirections to this yes? It wasn't rejection. It was preparation. Because this moment needed a version of you that only your pain, growth, and persistence could build. And now, you're ready. The stranger offering you help? They're not random. They're on assignment. Sent not just to bless you, but to activate you. You've walked in faith long enough. Now, you're about to walk into rooms that were designed for your calling. This is your life change moment. Let it happen. Don't second guess it. And hear this blessing isn't about striving. It's about surrender. When you trust, you stop chasing and start attracting. What's for you doesn't need you to perform. It needs you to believe. That's when the reward for good actions shows up unexpectedly, and sometimes, extravagantly. So here's what I want you to ask yourself. What if the breakthrough already happened, and now all you need to do is walk through the door? And what if this next season is less about effort, and more about allowing? Because in the final moments of this story, the numbers start to speak. Now that you know what's unfolding behind the scenes, what are you going to do about it? Will you keep doubting your worth, or will you step into the purpose that's been waiting for you all along? Because this moment isn't just a feel-good story. It's a spiritual invitation. You've been watched, chosen, and aligned. Not by chance, but because the energy you carry is meant to shift lives, including your own. The millionaire, the open doors, the sudden shift, it's all a reflection of the work you did in silence. This is your reward for good actions, your confirmation that divine timing is real. So here's my challenge. Don't let this message pass through you like air. Apply it. Let it shift your mindset. Let it remind you to expect good things. Be open to receive. Be bold enough to say, yes, I'm ready. Because new beginnings don't wait for the perfect moment, they show up when you're aligned. Drop a comment below and tell me, what part of this message hit you the hardest? What are you letting go of so you can rise higher? And if you know someone else who's been moving in silence, share this with them. Let them know they're not alone, and that something greater is already in motion. And hey, if this video gave you clarity, strength, or just made you feel seen, don't just like it, save it. Come back to it when doubt tries to sneak in. And turn on those notifications, so you don't miss the next word that might be exactly what your spirit needs. If this video brought you new insight into your purpose, don't stop here. Click right here and keep walking with me. That next video? It's not just more content, it's a key to your next level. I know it'll surprise you. Let's go deeper, together.